everybody, and welcome to the third episode, or the third Brevity Devlog. This episode is late. It is 2 weeks late, 3 weeks, but I'm sorry for that. You won't be unimpressed by what we've gotten done, though, so I'm not really sorry. So, first thing you'll notice in Brevity is there's a new map. The old one, you were in, the different spot that wasn't very detailed. That's because we redid the map, so now there's a completely new map. Also, we have ported, or are in the process of porting, our project to libgdx. Main reason for that is it's got a few more libraries. It's a little more powerful than Slick 2D. It's also wrapped around Lightweight Java Game Library, I think. Something like that. And it's also got multi-platform support, so we can automatically, well not automatically, but easily port to Android, iOS, HTML for some, if you want to put it on a website, or for desktop, which is what we have, which is quite useful. So the first thing is I would follow my list of things, but you're probably getting quite annoyed by this black blob over here that's moving around. This is the NPC. You may notice that he randomly moves around, random distances, and you'll randomly stop. He's actually got a bounding rectangle, which you'll notice if you watch him for quite a while. It's not very easy to see though, his movement just looks kind of random. And as you just saw there, if you walk to him and press Q, dialog box will come up. He also can't move while that happens. You still can. I am for the second, this is just a funny little thing. If you walk out of his bounding, out of his speaking rectangle, he's also got one of those, for if you get near him, it'll check if the player's intersecting with it. So if you walk out of that, it stops talking. So that's that. As well as we have gotten smart layer rendering. So the way this works is there's background tile layers, so there's tile layer 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have as many as you want. These are rendered behind the player, and for example, these leaves and this background here, they take up 2 of the tile layers. There's then the collision layer, which doesn't get rendered, it just creates blocks at every collision, and I'll talk more about that later. And then it renders the player, and after that it renders the overlay layer. So this layer, this thing here, is on that layer. So as you can see, if we go here, we are behind it. Now what is this useful for? I mean, it's good for graphical elements. That's pretty much all it's useful for. Sorry about that there, that is a little glitch with the overlay layer. We have grass on the overlay layer, so that does that. Trees. Yes, you can pass behind the trees now, and you can have collision with the stumps. The reason it doesn't look exact is because it's one block, so one block comes all the way up to here. We might add circle collision later. And I mean, this system is not perfect. You'd have to put the trunk on the tile layer because now you can go underneath it, because the player does not have a complete collision rectangle. It only goes to his shoulders, right? So now you can pass underneath it. So this would have to be on the tile layer. So anyways, next is our pixel perfect collision system. So the way this works is there's a layer on our tiled map. Let's see if I can open that up right now. Yep, and it is called the collision layer. Now this layer, what you do is you can put these X's on here. Now these are every place where it collides. So we should add one here, but we might do that later. Definitely not on camera. So as you can see, there's one behind the trunk here, and you can just add that wherever you want. Then in game, what it will do is it'll read that. So it'll read that, and then it creates a rectangle at every one of those spots. So there's invisible rectangles going all along the collision. Now if the player before the player moves, it checks if he intersects with any of these rectangles. If he does, quit moving, we're done, we can't move forward. If not, he'll move forward. So that's pretty much our collision system. It's quite perfect. The only reason, let me see, I need a good example, like over here. The only reason it looks a little bit off when we walk into it here is because like it's a super simple fix. It's not with the collision system, it's with the player's rectangle. It's out too far. So anyways, that is our collision system. Next off, we have our most amazing thing we got done this week, and probably the thing I'm most proud about with Brevity so far, which is our redesigned inventory. So I'm going to move to this inventory and I'm going to start with this. So you might see that this is, whoa, a lot different than last week's inventory. We changed out the blue thing with this book. It looks more realistic, as well as I added these tags here, these tabs. These allow you to flip, which I wanted it to look like, to different sections of this book, I guess. There's no animation for that, but I want like an animation for like the book. So there is the item inventory, which we're in right now. I'll talk about that later, as well as the dragon inventory and the quest inventory. So let's start off by explaining the item inventory. Pretty much, this is not a good example because there is not a transparent background on these images, so let's go into the food one. So pretty much when you put your mouse over one of the slots and click, it will select that slot. If there's an item in that slot, it appears down here. So this is a pear, it doesn't have a description, it shows a big version of the image. Well, it's actually smaller than that, but whatever. And like this will turn, the letters will turn white and the actual image will turn white. That's kind of cool. You might notice that the positioning is off. That's only because the positioning is going reverse, so it's going like this. It's like reading backwards. At least if you live in like in the United States or something. Well, then it's that way. Whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just know that there's languages where it's reverse. Whatever. So there's that. I can easily fix the positioning as well in the dragon equips. They're over here. That's because item 1 is an apple, item 2 is a pear, and then these items are that way. So that'll be definitely be fixed next week. I mean, it's a super simple fix. I just didn't get to it before I had to make this week's devlog. So then there's dragon equips, food, and other. Just in case you don't know, dragon equips are things you can give the dragon to increase his stats. So these nature shields, if they're equipped to a nature type dragon, they will shield him. So like then if you attack him, it won't do as much damage. So then the food is to level up the dragons. Every one gives a certain amount of XP. I could put that down right now, but once again I didn't get to it this week. As well as then there is the other, which is miscellaneous stuff, like stuff that you get from quests, for example, and stuff like that. So that's the item inventory for you. The dragon inventory, nothing yet. We have that planned for next week too. And the quest inventory. Now it's definitely not done, and this is one of the things we're probably going to be working on. So pretty much right now it shows a description, the objectives, and this is in the wrong spot. But it is a scrolling list, so you can see all your reward. I don't get why that's there. This isn't my thing, but anyways, the objectives, so what you have to do, and then the rewards is what you get. Then right here is a handy little message. Quest not complete. So there's that, and then we're also going to work on the lists. We want them to be way bigger first off, and get smaller the further down on the list you get. So for example, food would be the biggest, dragon equips would be a bit smaller, and same with other. Here this one would be a bit smaller, and then this one would be even smaller. So anyways, that's it for the dragon inventory this week, as well as all of the changes for this week. So for the next week we have quite a few things planned. As first off, the things that I've already told you that we have planned, As well as the dragons, we are going to start the dragon battles and hopefully get them finished. We're going to make an enemy AI. Well, not enemy, like it's just like him, but when you go near him, a red Q comes up to like battle him or something. So then there's that. So yeah, that's planned for next week, and as well for next week we are going to try to have a launcher done. This launcher is going to allow us to automatically update the game, kind of like the Minecraft launcher, but it'll have a few more features. We can't tell you about those yet. Those are still secret till next week's devlog. So, without further ado, this is it for me this week. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to look out for the next Brevity Devlog, as well as checking out other cool content on the channel. I have lots of that. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.